Do you think you could take down a professional fighter if you had a few good punches up your sleeve?
Homie?
Yeah, bro.
Hey, chill, bro.
Bro.
Maybe you've seen a Street Fighter 2 and thought, I could handle that. Well, hold on to that thought. Because in this video, we're about to show you what happens when normal guys decide to challenge real fighters, only to get a lesson in humility they won't soon forget. Trust me, it's not pretty. In this video, we'll also dive into some unforgettable moments where the wannabe tough guys learned the hard way.
Bro, you motherfucker! Throw that bitch!
When fantasy meets reality. Imagine watching action movies where the hero punches through walls and defeats the bad guys with ease. Now, picture yourself thinking, hey, I could do that. But here's the thing, you're not a movie star. And even if you spent the last 3 days binge-watching martial arts flicks, challenging a real fighter is like trying to outrun a cheetah after eating a buffet. It's just not happening. Take this one guy, who thought he was a Shaolin master after watching too many action movies. He actually thought he could take on a professional MMA fighter. Let me tell you, the pro fighter treated him like a toddler with a toy sword. With one swift sidekick, this guy learned that his skills weren't exactly Shaolin level. More like, try to avoid stepping on Legos level. The drunk guy in the bar. Now, let's talk about a drunk man who decided to play the role of the bar hero. He was just standing there, blocking the aisle and acting like he owned the place. Joe Schilling, a pro fighter, was enjoying his time at the bar when this guy decided to take his blocking the path act up a notch. Instead of apologizing, the drunk man insulted Joe. Big mistake. Joe then gave him a lesson in respect that was probably more effective than any AA meeting. With one swift punch, the guy was out cold. When he wakes up, he'll be sober enough to realize that he messed with the wrong guy. Muscles aren't everything. Then there's Bradley Martin, who thought he was the king of the world just because he could bench press a small car. He was so confident that he could take on fighting legends like Nate Diaz and Devin Haney in a street fight.
You think you beat me in a street fight?
Huh?
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You in a street fight?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what could possibly go wrong? Well, when a jiu-jitsu master challenged him, Bradley found out that muscles don't mean a thing when you're up against technique. The jiu-jitsu master didn't even break a sweat. He probably didn't even need to flex. He just made Bradley look like he was doing a weird dance. Alfredo the blogger. Some people enjoy pulling pranks on others, but sometimes they forget that not everyone finds messing with people to be a good time. Enter Alfredo, the prankster who decided to interrupt UFC fighter Raul Rosas while he was training. Alfredo's idea of fun? Stealing Raul's equipment and acting like the gym was his playground. But here's the twist, Raul wasn't in the mood for jokes. Alfredo got a quick reality check.
Homie?
Yeah, bro.
Hey, chill, bro.
Bro.
And I'm sure that after this incident, his pranking days were over. Raul's kindness included showing Alfredo exactly how badly he could mess with him. Spoiler, Raul won. The street fighter who got taught a lesson. Some people think they can just walk into any gym and start throwing punches like they're in a street fight. One guy, who thought he could outfight a professional boxing coach, learned the hard way that street fighting isn't the same as real training. This coach didn't even need to break a sweat. With a few slaps and a swift kick, he sent the wannabe fighter packing. I mean, if your idea of a fight is throwing random punches, you might want to rethink your life choices. The man who challenged Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, known for being a UFC commentator and a master of martial arts, was minding his own business when some random guy decided to mock him. The guy must have thought Joe was all talk and no action. But when he pushed too far,
Crazy. You know?
Thank you, dude.
Oh, exactly. Touch me again and I'm going to choke you out on camera.
Joe delivered a lesson that was probably more powerful than a 5-minute TED Talk on humility. One move later, and the guy was on the floor, probably reconsidering his life choices. The UFC legend's quiet moment. Matt Serra, a UFC legend, was simply enjoying a peaceful day at a restaurant when some drunk guy decided to ruin his quiet time. This guy clearly didn't know who he was messing with. Matt quickly reminded him that UFC legends don't like being disturbed during their lunch. Within seconds, The guy went from thinking he was tough to realizing that not all heroes were capes. Some of them just happened to be retired UFC champions enjoying their day off. When keyboard warriors meet real fighters. We all know them. The internet trolls who think they can talk tough behind a screen. But when they actually face a real fighter, their bravado disappears faster than a donut at a police station. Take Sean Strickland, for example. An internet troll thought it would be fun to challenge him. But when they faced off, Strickland gave the keyboard warrior a real dose of humility. The troll quickly realized that playing fighter on your computer doesn't prepare you for a real fight in the cage.
Throw, you motherfucker! Throw that bitch!
It was like watching someone try to play Mario Kart without a controller. They were totally out of their depth. The guy who tried to challenge Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate. Love him or hate him, the guy knows how to fight. When a random hater challenged him to a fight, he probably thought it was going to be easy. But after the fight, let's just say this guy's confidence was knocked out of him. Literally. Tate showed him why challenging a former kickboxing champion was a bad idea. After that, I'm pretty sure the hater had to go home and update his status to, "I just got humbled by Andrew Tate." The MMA fighter who took down the arrogant man. One man, acting like the toughest guy in the store, decided to mess with an MMA fighter who was just trying to mind his own business. The guy was probably thinking, "Yeah, I can take him." Well, he couldn't. With one swift punch, the MMA fighter knocked him out cold, and the entire store got a front row seat to this lesson in humility. The arrogant man probably left the store wondering if he should have stayed home and played video games instead of challenging a professional fighter. The lesson in humility. When it comes down to it, challenging a professional fighter is never a good idea. Whether you're a bodybuilder, a drunk guy in a bar, or an internet troll, there's always someone out there who can show you why your confidence might be a little misplaced. These guys learned the hard way that fighting isn't about how tough you look. It's about skill, training, and experience. So, the next time you think about challenging a fighter, just remember, there's always someone better, faster, and more experienced. If you enjoyed watching these guys get their instant karma, make sure to give us a like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more fun and eye-opening content. Stay tuned for more, and remember, it's always better to stay humble. See you in the next one.